We could start doing it now while he's not here, really. Because, great to see you yesterday, Mike. Looked high and low for Bruce and for Mike and Hannah. Didn't see either of them. Sam, yeah. Did you see either of them there? Sam, Hannah, Bruce?
No, I had a look. Couldn't see them anywhere.
What about when we played Sutton? Did you see Bruce or Sam or Hannah there? Because I looked, but I wasn't there. I got in the ground quite quickly, so I'm not sure if I saw any of them.
No, I had a look. I didn't see them. Might have been a wedding or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Alex, talk Wimbledon to me.
Talk Wimbledon.
Yeah,
which
talk
one?
Wimbledon. I didn't see you.
No, I didn't go to that one. I did go to the previous one. Did you go to that one?
Right. Hang on. You didn't go to Wimbledon, and you live 3 miles away.
Yeah.
3 miles away you live.
I went the season before. I didn't see you then.
I must have been in a different stand to you.
He's not happy.
He's not happy, is he? It's because he's missing all these points. That's the problem.
I'm not happy tonight. Anyway, I've got a non-football related rant before we start.
Oh yeah. Oh God, someone's broken one of the laptops and asked for some money back.
No. Right, my niece is at college. Right, she's 18 and she's doing PE. Right, PE.
So
basically
what? Franklin or Grimsby?
I'm not sure. One of them.
Okay.
She's doing PE, right?
Yeah.
PE, I think she does like 3 days a week. It's basically just an excuse to not do a lot for another couple of years.
Yeah, I did that at college.
Yeah, right. She's gone on a field trip today.
That's nice. Where's she gone?
Rio.
What, the nightclub?
Rio in Brazil.
Her name is Rio.
She's gone on a field trip to Rio for 2 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing.
We used to get put on a bus to Elsham Hall.
We went to Barcelona on a bus for college. 32 hours on a bus with college students. Can you imagine that?
Oh, sweat fest.
No wonder Leonici turned... Leonici was one of our chaperones.
I bet you got sat next to the kid that hadn't discovered deodorant at 17.
I bet it's like the in-betweeners.
The person who sat next to me had that.
It's like the In-Betweeners movie, isn't it? It's like the In-Betweeners movie, not the In-Betweeners movie, when they're going on the field trip, innit? And he goes, there's a seat next to John. I'm not sitting next to John. I have got feelings, you know.
Is this how it is on the supporters coach as well, going places? So I'm not sitting next to him.
I was going to mention some names then, but no. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. You're probably right. No, that's Hey, did you see that video that I found of Bernard? How good was that?
Oh, do you know what? Bernard's an interesting one. Did you ever get to meet Bernard, Mike? Might have been
yeah. He used to travel on his bus all the time, mate. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
When I was back in Grimsby, when during Slade's time and after Slade's time, I used to go to every away game on his bus.
I remember when we went to Wembley. I can't imagine the organising that went in what Bernard did, and
it wasn't computerised, was it? It wasn't.
Yeah, it was like
you went round to his house. You went round to his house. He welcomed you into his front room, which we saw on that clip, and you gave him your money, and he treated you like one of the family. And the amount of people that someone like him, well, particularly him and Terry Latterly, the amount of youngsters that they've got into being able to go away from home because they went on their own, and it's like, come along. Whether it's as easy to do that now, with the bloody world gone stupid, but I don't know. But he deserves a hell of a lot of credit. And the amount of you put something like that on, and the amount of people that then, I went on, whatever. I think I was on coach 17 when we went to somewhere or another. But
yeah, I was something like 37 or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been Wembley, wouldn't it? But yeah.
I don't know if it was personal, but I never got invited in. I was just on the doorstep. Here's your money. But you're quite right. It's quite a service that probably goes undervalued, really, when people think about it. Is the fact for me as a town fan, especially a town fan with no connection to the area at the time, I think I got the bug properly when I started going to away games. Now, I think if I just did the odd home game with mates and that, I don't think I'd be as much as a town fan and kept it on growing up through my teenage years. And I think
it was Bernard taking you back to Yorkshire.
It's all them day trips back to Yorkshire. It was all right.
and he never left Bruce.
No, but do you know what I mean?
In all seriousness, mate, I know what you mean. Yeah, it is, and it's like a little family. You see nowadays with Facebook a little bit, and you see the pictures of the bus and the clientele, and and they do have a regular sort of 30 or 40, and you see pictures from like 25 years ago, and you've still got Janice on the bus now, and it's just like, and they are like a little community of the.
Well, would you like a fun fact? Would you like a fun supporters club fact? Terry Hall, who does a great job. I share a birthday with Terry. Obviously not the same year, just the same day.
Oh, I thought you said it was a great
fun fact. There,
that's not a great fact. That's just something
fans everywhere.
That's just something you noticed on Facebook. Do you know what we were talking about it, weren't we, Mike? Because rather oddly, one of Mike's friends when we were at Sutton, I took him to his first town game, didn't I, when he was a kid? Because I briefly dated his sister.
Yeah.
And we went. I think we went to Arsenal on that That was quite with Bernard and everything. Taking us to the bright lights of the city.
But I've always done that, and I've tried to do that at home as well. Like if one of our lads can't go, I'll try and take one of Maisie. You want to take a friend, and see if they. And when I used to run kids' football teams, I used to take the players. If any of the kids want to come but the parents aren't interested, I'll take the players. I'll take them.
Richard Young says, "No food. This is a toilet stop only." Is a classic Bernard line, followed by everybody, still going to Burger King and buying the football special, which was like £8 for like 3 burgers.
Steaks.
I think I went on Bernard's buses to. I went to the first Anfield in '97. For some reason, I went on my own. I was 22. That's quite sad, really, but I went on my own.
It's because you got no friends.
Yeah, I went to Chelsea. I didn't realise that you could pay for mates back then. And I went to Chelsea on my own. And the Chelsea, we got on the way back. It was about 2:00 in the morning, probably even later. We got to Grantham Services, and I was fast asleep on the bus. And the lights all come on. Right, everyone, we're stopping here for 45 minutes. You're like, we're only a bloody hour and a half from home. You've woken me up. If you've woken me up, we're stopping here and you're just sort of rattling around. It was February, I think, and you're rattling around this. And it wasn't the biggest services back then. It was fucking freezing, and you're like half asleep, and you've been beaten 4-1 at Chelsea, and you're like, someone's woken you up for a 45-minute stop for another hour and a half journey.
I think my best memory, or the thing I remember most, was it Morecambe or Accrington, one of them, a Tuesday night game, and we was coming back, and it was that night that there was the earthquake in Maple.
The JPT.
Yeah, there was the earthquake, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
There was. I remember we went to Arsenal, and I was stood. We got to this really crappy service station, and I was in the urinal, and the bus driver comes in next to us. He goes, I was meant to meet all the other coaches here, and they're not here, and I have no idea where we are. So don't look at me. I don't know where we are.
Back in the day when they used to have to use a map and things.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's just amazing. It really was. And do you know what? These last few games have really helped me. Watching Town as an Exile is quite a lonely affair. People go, oh, you only sit and watch it on your laptop, but you do just sit and watch it on your laptop, and you have to travel up to France and stuff. But it's quite a lonely thing where you watch us, up until recently lose and then shut the laptop, and then you don't really have that shared experience. These last few games at Sutton, even though you come out of Sutton blisteringly angry, and then yesterday, come out with a bit of a skip in your step. Just being around people and experiencing it together, it really does make a huge difference. And I've been struggling this season watching.
It makes you feel part of it again.
Yeah, it makes you struggle as a Town fan, really. And
yeah,
I'm so grateful for it yesterday and the last couple of games. I don't know how Premier League fans, I guess they don't know any difference. But if you watch Liverpool on the TV and only on the TV, it's not the same.
You've never known any different, though, have you?
Yeah, true.
Like you say, when you've lived up here and you've been a season ticket holder, and then you've moved away and you've sort of, you've left it behind, the physical side of it a lot of the time, then that's going to be different. Like you say, the ones that watch Man U and Arsenal and Liverpool not on telly and think they're a supporter of the club, they ain't got a fucking clue, have they?
I just like hugging strangers, Bruce. That's basically it. just random people just hugging them for no reason.
I know what you're saying, Alex, because I've had that for a few years, and especially like most of my family and things aren't town fans, so the only town fans I know are friends of people I've met at games and stuff. But some of the recent years, last 10 years, I've never felt so sort of away from home, missing out on some of the things we've done with promotions and what have you. But I know we started that London group a couple of years ago, didn't we? And that's great at the minute. You go to games, a couple of people from there, and it's nice to actually go to game. And it's not until you start doing it you realise sort of the experience you miss. It's more than just following a club, isn't it? I
know we take the piss and we have a bit of banter and stuff, but do you think part of that as well then is it's a habit, and you get like we take the piss, you don't go to many games and you don't travel and you don't do this and you don't do that, but do you think I know it's not always practical, people can't always afford it, but do you think is there an element of I tend to find that I get on a roll where I'm sort of going to games a bit like Alex has just described, and he'll be like, I'd really like to go to the Wrexham game on Saturday or whatever, because he's been to the last couple. You get into the sort of I've said to you before, Ronnie, my most prolific season was the bloody season we got relegated in 2009-10. I just thought the team's that shit though. I felt like they needed my support, and afterwards you realise that they were all in the pub and that, and you're just like, but at the time, we've been to so and so, we've been to so and so. Where are we next week?
I think if we played like Walsall or Newport next, I'd be like, it's not one that I usually consider, but I would probably consider doing it.
Yeah, because you've got you've got that thing again.
I'm not. Yeah. By the way, I'm not doing freaking Barrow.
For me, it's always one of these things. So as I say, I'm the only town fan, and there's nobody going, that puts pressure on you to go and stuff, and life comes at you and things happen. But I wasn't going to go really on Saturday. I was debating it, and then loads of other people are going, like you said, Bruce. I was like, you know what? Stuff it. I'm going to jump on train and go and have a day out in Gillingham. And I think you do, as an exile, sometimes you do miss that, all your mates are going, so you're going to jump on a Saturday. It does get a bit lonely sometimes, to be fair.
Yeah, I suppose like you say, you're all coming from, like I would just I'd put a message on a group and there'd be like 3 or 4 of us. Who wants to jump in the car? I'm going to drive, or we're going on the train. Who's doing this? And I've got probably 20 or 30 people at least that I know that I can, any given away day, there's people that I could go with. And like you say, for you, it's probably, you've got to sort of, everyone comes in a little bit, don't they? Like a spider's legs into the middle to meet up where all the other town fans are. Like you say, unless you happen to be lucky and you've got someone that you find that lives really near you, you're making that first part of the journey alone, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. I was quite lucky because Chris used to live nearby and in Camberley, so that was always quite nice to get that. But it is weird and wonderful where you find people from. A couple of more things on Bernard before we actually talk about football. So I remember Bernard from Fenty's old man's club back in the 80s, setting up travel from Grimsby Town supporters and social club met there. David Riley says he remembers getting soaked at Barnsley on Boxing Day in '94. Richard Young says for Wembley at '98, his stress levels were through the roof. That's Bernard's. He had a queue going down Heneage Road if people wanted to book, and his phone was ringing off the hook. He was a one-man traveller. It must have been 40, 50 buses that he put on, Richard. It was incredible. And then had to do it all again 6 weeks later.
Right, whatever happens the rest of the thing tonight, this is the Bernard Morley episode.
Absolutely. David Riley says he had time for everyone on the coach. And Tim Hubbard says, snap, David. But my trip on New Year's Day was 1983 and we lost 4-0. Pete says he never judges any town fan by how many home or away games they attend. Should join our WhatsApp group, Pete. Bruce takes attendance.
Well, tonight, hey,
he's got a register, hasn't he? Are you there? You're not there.
Excel, I think he's got an Excel sheet, hasn't he?
His most typed word on our WhatsApp group is again with a question mark.
We've actually had a chat today about relegating Hannah or Sam for poor attendance on the podcast, haven't we? They've got to have a playoff at the end of the season to see who stays.
I'll tell you something. There are some on scunny levels of league table, like in that podcast group. There are people you have never seen on an episode that are in there.
And some you wish you'd never seen on an episode.
Yeah, but you can't get rid of me that easily. Right, let's get into it
start?
proper. I hope everyone has noticed we've kind of tried to put a moving background of Cleethorpes seafront, but all I seem to be getting is like the empty part of Chapman's Pond and Fantasy World's roof. So I don't know.
Making me dizzy.
It's not. Oh, there's the look there. You can see there's the mini golf club. There's the toilets and that shut down thing. I can't remember what it's called. What's it called, Bub? But Bruce, the one on the corner.
What shut down? What corner? I ain't got my glasses on, mate. Whereabouts are you?
Going down the promenade, you've got the pier in front of you, Park Lane on the left, and then you had a pub on the right that was painted blue. What's that called?
The Sub.
That was it. I thought it was the Sub.
Waves and the Sub. It's not there anymore. It got knocked down, didn't it?
Yeah. Look at that beautiful. Look at all of the clothes shops up the side there. Anyway, shall we get on
with the credits?
Oh, hang on. I've got to find them first. This is a long old list.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got a penalty here. They've been fish flying about that. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast, and welcome wherever you are, whether you're listening live or, you have downloaded it. Please do give us a good review, subscribe on YouTube, because I don't think we ever give that sort of stuff a plug. It might always help, but, there are 300 of you watching live. You're more than welcome to come and join us. Please put a welcome and a hello. If you've never chatted before, do so. We'll get your thoughts and opinions on these last two games where the Mariners continue their unbeaten run, 6 unbeaten, 4 points from a week where we played playoff chasing and promotion chasing teams in Franchise FC and Gillingham. It is an interesting time to be a Town fan where we claw back point after point and we're starting to feel not so terrified. And I'm joined by Mike and Bruce to talk us through it. And let's start actually with the Grimsby Town women's team. They won 3-0 today against Cleethorpes. They are going through to the final. More information will come through as we get it. If you went today, do put a little report in. Will be great to hear from you and talk us through how that game went. But they are going through to the final, and the dates and stuff will be announced shortly. And when you do, you'll be able to hear about it on the Twitter, and we'll obviously make sure we talk about it here too. Let's go to the Milton Keynes game, franchise game. Town win 1-0 against, fourth place Milton Keynes. Bruce, you were there. You've already unmuted, I think.
I am.
How was it?
It was sweet, mate. It's always sweet doing them, isn't it? I mean, I'm not bitter and holding on to things, but we all hate them, don't we? No one of our age or my age and down to your age is ever going to forget what happened. No, it's good, mate. We're just defending with our lives, aren't we? It makes a change coming on here, doesn't it? I'm getting a bit bored of not moaning anymore. It's all very friendly and nicey all of a sudden. But it was solid. We just looked solid. We're defending for our lives. We gave up a lot of the ball on Tuesday night. I think it was 80%.
Yeah, 29% possession we had.
71 then. But yeah, but we never looked in a lot of trouble. I don't think, I can't remember, I haven't got the figures in front of me, but I don't remember Cartwright making a save again. Not really. We certainly weren't under undue pressure. And it was another one, I think I talked about it the other week, didn't I? Was it the end of the Wimbledon game? I said, I didn't feel like they were going to score. Like often when you're either hanging on for a draw or away from home, or you're holding on to a win at home, you feel like you're desperately hanging on. But
felt a bit like that yesterday. But
yeah, well, I didn't see yesterday, and obviously you'll tell me more about yesterday in a bit. But it didn't feel like that on Tuesday. It just felt we just, it's the same thing we've said for a couple of weeks now, and it's a positive thing. But the players that we've brought in are performing. You know, they're performing really well, and the players around them are growing game on game. I would like us to have a little bit more of the ball, but we've obviously set up. I can't remember the first game. What was the first game after the Doncaster game where we? I can't remember I can't remember the sequence of games, but it was a home game, and it was the first. It was maybe not the Accrington game. It was maybe the next home game, but it just felt like we completely changed, and our players weren't following their players all over the pitch. They were more holding a shape. It was a bit like the zonal sort of marking that you get on corners, but it was across our half of the pitch, and players were not getting pulled about. They were trying to just hold the shape and saying, right, we've got a bank of 4 and a bank of 5 or whatever it may be. You come and get through us, and we've just carried that on. So as that changes, I would like to see us have a bit more of the ball and offer a bit more of a threat. But 1-0 to the Grimsby, you know, it's obviously Sutton. We came unstuck doing that, didn't we? But it was most enjoyable, mate, and it's and thoroughly deserved on effort alone.
You were right, Bruce. Apologies. It was 21.2% possession that we had. I must have looked at somewhere else. We had more shots on target. Though 3 shots on target. We could have, we hit the post with a nice little one. Missed the penalty from Gav. We could have won that game 3-0 with 20% possession. It was an interesting one. Gavin Williamson was. Is it Gavin Williamson? No, it's Mike Williamson, isn't it? Gavin Williamson is the bloke. Is the cabinet minister. So he was one that was, from Gateshead and was touted as a pretty decent player. Not too dissimilar, though, in terms of what we've done in the past, where lots of possession, lots of fancy footwork, but there's just no cut and thrust, and they looked a bit toothless, and it was.
I would just like us to actually score more than one.
Yes.
We came unstuck at Sutton, didn't we? And we could have come unstuck with missing the penalty. I've not seen. Obviously, we saw Holohan take a few penalties last season. I've not seen him do that before. I just think with a penalty, you put it in the corner. Just put it in the corner, and the keeper's got to make. If you put it accurately, you don't even need to do much more than sort of pass it in. It doesn't need to be absolutely smacking your foot through it. You put it right in the corner. He's got to make a good save, even if he goes the right way. Occasionally you might get that wrong, but I think he just gambled on the keeper diving, didn't he? But it looked horrendous. Because he didn't dive, it looked horrendous.
Most keepers don't dive. Most keepers dive, don't they? So I think it's one of those, Bruce, that keeper dives and everyone's saying what a fantastic penalty is. And that's the same if he puts it low to the left and low to the right, just not in the corner. The ones he took at Southampton, if the keeper goes the right way for one of them, it's a crap penalty. But because the keeper doesn't, it's a great penalty.
Yeah, I prefer we just try to put it out of. I know what you're saying, but I think if you can be accurate and put it in the corners, then it's got to be what I'm getting at. Effectively, the keeper didn't need to make a good save, did he?
No.
If he makes a great save, that's fine. I take your point that he thought the keeper would dive, but if you put it in one of the corners, it doesn't really matter what the keeper does. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. It's just as a goalkeeper. I mean, I don't know why more goalkeepers don't stand where they are, but as a goalkeeper in a game of football, you want to try and make a positive impact, and standing there is a negative because so most keepers dive because they want to save it, and sort of standing there is quite a passive thing to do. That's why most of them don't do it. But I think moving on to the MK Dons game more in the round, I think there was a nice little, quite a change in formation, a change in setup, which worked quite well for us. He had Ganua and Issa on, which was a bit of a change. And I've started to notice actually recently in the last few games about how much, and this shouldn't be a surprise, he's a football manager that's had success, but how he's quite astute tactically about what he does. So all through the second half, I noticed that we had Thompson playing as we had 2 right wing backs, which sort of shut up most of the joy they had down the left-hand side in the first half. And, talking about conceding possession, I think that's not entirely by design, but we were set up in that second half to absorb pressure, which they weren't really doing too much with. I know you've said about shots on target and stuff. So they had lots of the ball, but didn't do much with it because it needs to be said how good our centre halves have been recently. So they had lots of the ball, but we were set up to hit them on the break. And there's 3 or 4 really good chances we had on the break where we could have won 2-3 and then 4-0 if we'd taken them. So I'm not entirely sure it was backs against the wall holding on. I think it was entirely by design. And I think halfway through the second half, there was a really important change as well, where he took both the wingers off and put Andrews and Wood on. And almost instantly, you could notice how much quicker we were to the ball in the midfield. I think Issa and Ganua's game was run to some extent, and we were becoming second to the ball. But we started winning the ball high up, and Wood put a couple of great challenges, winning the ball up in the midfield, and we had a break on to try and score. So, whilst I would like to see us with more of the ball, scoring more goals, I think it was a great performance, and I think they probably did what they were asked to do. One thing I also did notice is we've sort of reset back to basics, sort of Accrington game, haven't we? In the Forest Green game, we've taken a more pragmatic approach. What I have seen us try and do, especially at home, not so much yesterday, but I saw it in the MK Dons game and I saw it in the Sutton game, is and Wimbledon. We're trying to progressively get a bit better on the ball. So if we go back to the Accrington game, that was quite pragmatic. Ball in the channel, get it out wide, get it out the danger areas. With the MK Dons game, we were trying to do little bits in the midfield and sort of play through them a little bit more. So we're making those steps towards it. And I thought the goal was a prime example. Instead of a couple of weeks ago, we get the ball, we put it out of danger, put it up the pitch and try and press them up the pitch. Little turn by Thompson, ball into the channel, ball across, lovely little combination for the goal. So whilst we've taken the step back to sort of shore us up, I do think we are seeing quite a lot of progression into trying to get a bit better on the ball. And hopefully that will continue at home, at least, to get better. And I like to see that.
I think what he's doing as well is that, I was just thinking about it while you were talking, he's using a lot of different, he's putting faith in the whole squad. You think of in the last few games, I mean, I know Rose has got injured, but Rose has played up front and he's played with Abikwu, he's played with Wilson's played up there, Pike's played up there, and then like you say in the last home game, Ganua came back in, Issa came back in. I don't think any, and then in the midfield, like you say, you've had Wood came on at home, and you've had a lot of the squad have had some game time. He's keeping them interested. A lot of them have had some game time in the last. He's not just we're doing really well. We've found this sort of. We found this formula. These 12 lads have done it. We've probably used 16 or 17 players, depending on what he sees fit. And I mean, it's been quite interesting. We've had conversations on here last week, haven't we? And also, I've WhatsApp, social media, when the team comes out every week. Wilson's played, Pike's played, Abikwu's played. It's sort of like nobody's got a clue who's going to start up front for us every game.
We'll get into that stage now where we weren't a couple of weeks ago, and the change of how we're playing is obviously a contribution factor to that. I think the confidence the lads have got now, having strung 6 undefeated together, is true. But we're getting to the stage now where you're looking around the team, other than the back 5, because that's yet to be changed and tested too much. But everywhere else around the park, you've got 2 players, I think, that would, at the minute, with the form they're in and we're in, you would trust to have a go. So that's an improvement again, and it's a great time of the season to be making these improvements and for players to be stepping up a little bit more.
Some of the thoughts from people not of the pod. Let's have a quick look and see what there is, apart from Michael Yarber asking if Bruce is on.
You mean common sense?
The common folk. The common folk.
The ones that talk common sense. I didn't say that.
Well, that's what you said, Bruce. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You are the club's historian, and you should,
Fenwick out.
Elevated above these, the peasants. Michael Yarber says, "Is Bruce on cocktails or a pint of milk?" Which is the most important thing. Stephen McDay says we need to keep picking up points. It's such a nail biting watch each time. It was certainly nail biting watching Milton Keynes. I was shouting, get it launched at the watching it on telly. Tim Hubbard says I used to live in Milton Keynes before franchise came about. I love it. Just love it when we turn them over. I'd just go support Luton. I just don't understand why you would do it. It's just terrible. After
your comments about Luton, you're probably not welcome.
Hey, look, us shitholes need to stick together. It's not a problem. I love what they do, and I think it's quite, but we should be proud that we are a shithole, and it keeps our mortgages down. I still think we should, we should shout about it. I still think we should start chanting things about our mortgages only being £400 a month at Southerners. But
Alex, it's not me that has the problem with Luton. That's you. I have no problem with Luton.
It is a shithole. Franchise, we're making pretty patterns, but we never let them get near our goal. Stephen Page says the franchise game was fantastic. Wasn't too sure on the formation, but it worked really well. Jack Coupland says, at no point did I feel threatened that game, even with them all having the ball. Mike, with that moustache, you're resembling a young Roland Browning. How long until Mr. Bronson arrives? Bronson? Oh,
I don't get the reference. Can anybody old like Bruce explain it to me?
It's a Grange Hill reference, mate.
Is it? I don't get it. I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah, it's a Grange Hill reference. A young Roland Browning. Roland Browning was a school pupil, so I'm not sure that you look like a young Roland Browning. But anyway,
I'll just talk like this now.
Yeah, but yeah, don't start googling him though.
Okay, we won't do. Is there anything else you want to mention? One thing that I've been delighted to see is the return of those who have started the season with us. The Malarkeys and the Rogers and the Greens having consistently good performances. I think Green especially has had a number of performances where I think I've been impressed. He seems to be playing a more advanced role than he has been, and I'm not as terrified of him having the ball or trying to go in for a tackle than I was. And it's nice to see, that sort of energy and commitment in the middle of the park. And it really does help. Tim Hubbard says, when we played at the stadium, MK, my cobbler supporting mate from Milton Keynes came with me to protest against the bastard franchise scum as to support town. Great stuff. Thanks, Tim. There was a lot of anagrams in there that it was like being at work.
The only other thing I would say, Alex, and this is true when we talk about yesterday's game, is I think it really needs to be said how good those three centre backs and Harvey Cartwright have been over the last 6 games. Tharm's come in and been great. I nicked something off the club's social media where he ran from one end of the pitch to the other to pick up equal up. He just looks like a player you want in your team.
Right.
But also
everybody needs to watch this, because Mike is getting the same sort of fandom for Doug Tharm as Sam had for Fete.
Well, no, because that's Glennon.
It's getting to that level.
He won't overtake Glennon.
It's Doug Love.
Watch people. It's Doug Love. He was shouting across to them as they're going, Gav, tell Doug that I love him.
But yeah, so he's come in and improved us. But special mention to Malarkey, who's now playing as right side centre back. He's looked great. But also Rogers, who has come in for a lot of stick this season. Some of it deserved, some of it not. But full credit to those two in particular for sort of bouncing back, because it's not easy after 5-1, 3-1, 6-1 at home, and on top of what we've done this season. But I think they've looked immense all the last 6 games, and I think we're very quick as fans to criticise players and have a dig at players, and I don't think we're as quick to maybe do the opposite. So I think those two in particular, Malarkey and Rogers, have been great.
And then I
think Alex. Sorry, just before we go on though, I do think that Mike's coming up for his holiday soon, and he's going to come to some games. I do think that maybe the club should get some extra protection for Doug. Do you think maybe?
What, like condoms and stuff?
Just to keep him safe. No, not like condoms.
Fucking hell.
Oh dear, we were doing so well.
I'm not quite at a Fete and Sam levels.
Right down the sewer.
Don't throw him down the sewer. It'll clog them up. Throw her in the bin.
It's not my fault. He's a beautiful footballer and a beautiful man.
Right, Gillingham.
Is that a euphemism? Gillingham. Mike, great to see you there. Obviously, didn't see Bruce, but long way to travel.
Might have missed him. He could have been there. We've missed him.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you saw on the national news, but everyone kept telling me to avoid the area where I needed to go through. But I braved it and I did it. I braved the M25, and we were rewarded with a lovely point. It's the first time apparently Gillingham have scored in the first half at home since November, which is the only stat I've got on it. But my overriding thoughts were, I still don't know how that stand passes any sort of safety regulations. It is terrifying. It's held up with duct tape and love and hope. and that is about it. The Alps fans were there, which was great to see them. Really interesting to see see them there. There was no bus party though, as you sort of, I don't know if you were there at Leyton Orient, Bruce, when they all came out and they were all having their little disco outside the away end. There was none.
They were giving out beer. They were giving out beer at Orient, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
If we could, we work out how to get them here more permanently, that would be really great. The only thing, though, I thought we sold out the seats, and there was very few people in them. We all seemed to be in the open terrace.
Remember last year where they oversold it and said it wasn't sold out? So maybe they've got like an aggregate rating. Because last year they nearly double sold it, and like everybody's like nowhere to sit, and everyone's sat on each other's knee.
My favourite bit was Mariner Hoddo, when he went last time, was told he wasn't allowed to film any of the game, even himself, which is what he does. But then what we did have is an old gentleman near us with his old Sony video recorder filming the entire game right in front of this. He was right next to the segregation, and the stewards could see. No one said a word. It was a lot of fun.
It's a dodgy French stream.
Yeah, exactly. That's the dodgy stream.
One of Del Boy's Russian camcorders.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a little bit of smoke coming out of it as well.
I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a particularly. It typifies what we've just been saying about the change of sort of mindset and confidence, is where that's a proper good away performance, without being great. It's a backs against the wall, went for a point, got a point, and I think we did quite well. The frustrating thing from our point of view is we went 1-0 up, and away from home, especially against a team that don't score many, as soon as you've gone 1-0 up, you want to get hold of the football again for a little bit and, calm the game down and slow it down. And I just think after we scored, we just couldn't put our foot on it and stop them. And unfortunately, they scored. I think all the way through the first half, it took us a while to work out what they were doing. And they were putting a lot of balls down a channel and switching it to have a free cross into the box. And they did that all the first half. Yes. You probably got fed up with me shouting "Stop the cross" to you.
I knew I had it ready.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing with the goal as well. He had all the time to turn back onto his right foot and put it into the box. But I think second half, full credit to David Artelli, made 2 changes, went back to a sort of a 4-3-3, put some wingers on there to try and give us a bit of defensive width and double up on the wing. And for all the pressure again that they had in the second half, not much of it was clear cut pressure. I think all through the first half they were just exploiting each flank and switching it quickly and getting too many balls into the box, and we stopped that second half. I think the only real chances they had were from distance or little half chances where we were poor defensively. But yeah, it was a good point. Went there again. Centre half Rodgers again was immense. There was one particular clearance in the first half, almost off the goal line, and got it over the crossbar, which was great. And I think Malarkey having to switch back to a right back where he's struggled at times. I think he did well. And again, another bit of credit to Artel is after their left winger had quite some success towards the end of the second half, he just swapped it in and brought Smith on, who quieted that down. A right back came on with some fresh legs and sort of stopped that outlet. So when you actually examine the game, I think we deserved a point, but I also think the in-game management, the tactical changes and things, I think that got us the point. Because if we hadn't changed at half time, we'd have gone 2-1 behind quite quickly, I think.
I thought
who's Smith?
Smith, the right back.
What's his first name?
I don't know. I want to say Michael, but it's not.
Where's he come from? I've never heard of him. When did we get him? Did he come in the transfer window?
I'm enjoying
Smith, the right back. What are you on about?
You are thinking of Liam
what's his
Smith.
First name?
Liam Smith. That's it.
Liam Smith, formerly of Cheltenham, who is on loan for us.
Sorry, you gave me a bit of a moment then.
How many games has he played?
3 and 1 off the bench.
You gave me a bit of a moment then. I thought I was going insane.
He's obviously not made any impression on me yet because obviously he's not been playing, has he?
So yeah, the last game he played in was the 5-1 defeat to Donny. He played in the he played in the Accrington game, the Stockport game, the Donny game, and then came off on the bench today. He's played 19 games this season though.
You see, he's tried to make me look a dick like I've forgotten somebody and now he's going, he's maybe not made an impression.
Daniel Lewis is not impressed with Bruce's knowledge.
I'm not the dick. I am but I just no. He's obviously made no impression on me whatsoever in this recent upturn in form. He hasn't been involved. That's all. Thank you. I know who he is now.
Just going. If anyone's listening live, all I'm doing is just putting up all the comments that people have put up saying, "Liam, are you joking? Bruce, ex-Cheltenham, came on Cheltenham on loan, debut at Aki." So just so you know, that's where the quietness comes in.
You need no knowledge to be on. You need no knowledge whatsoever to be on this podcast.
I mean, we have proved that time and again.
Every week.
You just have to have, as long as you can say, Papa's is shit, Seaway's shit, Steele's is nice, and don't go down Ryby Square. You've got enough, to get on with this podcast. I've still
never been to Papa's, and I can tell you about town stuff from before 1995. That's all I'm here for, isn't it? Really.
Bruce, can we talk about the Nottingham Forest game when we won 4-3, which is without a doubt my most entertaining game watching town.
We've moved from Gillingham really quickly, have we?
We 2 sending off. The referee got knocked out like they did at Swindon.
Have we actually finished Gillingham?
No. One thing I want to say is how nice our goal was. Lovely header by Green, lovely pass by Gav, and a lovely little bit of awareness by Wilson, just calmness under pressure to slot that away. It was a wonderful goal. Very rare at the moment. I feel like we score goals of that type. Well, I'm trying to think the last time we scored. Yeah,
I did watch the highlights last night, and our goal was the only highlight that they showed for us, and it showed about sort of 3 or 4 half chances. I don't know if you watched it when you got home, but it sort of showed their goal and obviously 3 or 4 half chances for them. Did we not have? Did we stop
recording it?
Did we not have? Well, I just usually delete it with unwatched most weeks, but did we not have any other chances that were worth them showing?
Yeah, there was a good one for Bikwu in the first half. It didn't quite make contact, but I think there's a few chances in and around where we got the crossing, nothing clear cut. But I wouldn't say it was a game where we only had 1 or 2 chances. I think we did a fair bit.
I think we were lucky to come away with a point, but I think they should have also had a penalty in the first half. I think Thompson clipped the heels of one of their guys. I certainly heard it from where we were, but he did make the most out of it. They hit the bar, didn't they? They hit the post.
Can't finish the top. I tell you,
Rogers cleared it off the line, and they had a couple of near misses. But it's not like our luck has been with us at all recently. And if we'd have taken 3 points at Sutton, a point against Gillingham, would have been, it wouldn't have mattered, would it?
Harvey Cartwright, again, catching almost everything that comes into the box. And I must say the season, how he started off, and I don't think he's been terrible, but he's really growing in his first sort of full season. And I think I said to you at the time, Alex, is, when you're under that sort of pressure and the ball's coming into the box, when you've got a keeper that's going to catch stuff, it just relieves a lot of pressure. And I think that's probably a big influence on why our defence are looking a lot more confident as well. I would say I'm quite worried about why every 70th minute he goes down with a knee problem. I think that needs looking at.
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
Bang on 70 minutes or something, isn't it?
I hope he's okay, and we just need to continue to treat it. If he's got a problem, then Hull will have to deal with it when he goes back to them in the summer, and we'll just have to continue to treat it between now and the end of the season.
Under pressure, it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, you might see it happen a bit more often, just because games take their toll, don't they, Bruce? And everyone keeps telling me how many games Colchester have got to play, and I think we've got more games or the same amount of games to play, haven't we?
1 less.
We've got one. Yeah, we played 36. I think they played 35. But when you finish talking about that, I've got a couple of things I want to discuss towards the end of the pod, please.
That's fine. We do need to talk about JT announcing his retirement. 40 years as the voice of the Mariners and scaring the shit out of everybody who listens remotely. He makes it sound like for 95 minutes of the entire game, the ball is 3 yards off our goal line and the goal is gaping. He's been inundated with love and requests. It was lovely to see Robbie Stockdale bought him a box of beer. I don't know if you saw it on social media. He's currently working at Gillingham and brought him up a bit of drink to celebrate with. He's a legend, isn't he?
He's an absolute legend. I mean, you'll get this, Alex, with being an exile. For a lot of years before we could go to France and watch games, our connection with Grimsby was listening to John Tonder, and loads of people would be like this. He's the voice of the Mariners for a reason. And I said in the week, it's like a bit of a comfort blanket. When you hear him talking about town, it just feels like home listening to him. I mean, I will admit he might be responsible for a few heart attacks, but that's probably because he's a town fan and feels it as much as we do watching it. When the ball's in and around the box, we get a little bit nervy as well. So he's clearly heart on his sleeve, and I think what a fantastic service to the local media, but also Grimsby Town, that being the voice of the Mariners for 40 years. I hope he has a lovely retirement and hope he enjoys going to games and not having the pressure of having to have an opinion and having to get things.
He won't have to sit in front of bloody Rubbish Town now. He'll be able to enjoy. Do you think he's ever watched a game from the Findus, actually, Bruce?
I'd be straight out the main stand if I was him.
Well, but the point is, though, in modern world with replays and Twitter and games on telly, everybody gets a second and third chance look at things. And I probably fall foul of this, being overcritical at times. The bloke sat in the main stand with probably the crappiest view in the stadium and gets one look at it. So I think he's done a fantastic job. And
he doesn't mention pillars more often.
It would be very strange not to hear him every Saturday.
Square-eyed, what is
just out of interest.
Which of the guys will be stepping up? Oh, okay.
Obviously you can now watch the games if you live abroad. How long have you been able to listen as an exile? Season. How long have you been able to get Humberside on digital or whatever?
Oh, years.
We've always had Mariners World. I think ever since this podcast started, so at least 7 years, we've been able to listen.
So you had to subscribe to that, didn't you?
Yeah. And then, but when you're in the conference, you could listen free.
Yeah. I've never had a problem listening to games that are league games, I don't think.
Okay.
And ever since the second season of them having the Travel from France TV, whatever it's called, the first season they had no comms, and second season they now have Humberside on it. So
Martin says when he retires, the club should give him his post. I mean, let's double check first, Martin. It's not load bearing. At least we could paint it in a colour of his choosing and call it the John Tonder post.
Well, they are taking some out, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe they can present it to him.
He can have it in his garden.
Present him with one. What am I going to do with this?
I would love the idea that John comes back into his living room and someone has concreted the post in front of his TV. He's having to look either way. I can't even see Silent Witness. Who murdered who?
We'll get him back. We'll get him back doing tossing the pillar, the pillar in the at half time as entertainment.
I feel sorry for his poor neck. How's he going to be able to watch football not sitting like that or like that all the time?
Yeah, maybe we should give him an honorary seat in the middle of the upper where he just looks down.
It would be lovely to know. I mean, I will be asking him to come on, but I would love to know if he's even ever experienced a game at Town in a different stand other than the main stand for like those 40 years.
I mean, he might not survive the temperatures, and it might kill him off though if he goes in the Finders.
He's never
all the years a blanket under the counter or whatever, and sat in the warmth with the wind blowing the back of the stand rather than your face. Maybe he's like a. One of these plants that can only thrive in certain environments. Maybe
are you saying
maybe he needs to stay in the main stand.
Are you comparing John Tonder to a cannabis plant?
No.
He's only legal in America.
In 12 states.
In 12 states. But yeah, it'll be weird to not have him there, and then you'll have. I'm sure there's many out there. Square-eyed asked if any of us would do it. Absolutely not. I would be awful, and I would be effing and blinding by the end of it. You think John takes umbrage with referees now? You imagine if I was there.
Is it really bad?
The commentator's gone down onto the pitch.
Is it really? Yeah, Alex, he's lobbed his microphone at the ref.
You can't say fuck on the BBC.
If you had that blue suitcase,
I did say shit.
That blue, if you had that blue little travel suitcase thing, it'd come flying out the stands as the referee walks off the pitch at half time, wouldn't it? There's all bits of equipment falling out. Oh, that might be. I think that's Martin. I think that's Martin, the groundsman's. That
I would just write property of Matt Dean on it.
that leads me nicely on from a selfish point of view, from a purely selfish point of view. I'm really hoping that, or I'm making the assumption that Matt Dean's going to put like a nice hour-long thing at the end of the season to John Tonda together, and he's going to sort of pull me out of the Humberside archive some little audio bites that I can nick. I mean, is that really selfish?
No, that is entirely in keeping with you. That is like
my way of
get
thinking.
Some little nuggets. Have we never taken you to Colindale's to look for the newspapers?
To where?
Colindale's is like the National Archive for newspapers. So if we get you down there, it's in North London, and you can search up everything. You'll have all the Grimsby Telegraphs from like the 19th century and stuff.
I did make contact with what's that place that does an archive near King's Cross? Is it the British Library?
Yes, it's the British Library. Yeah, that's bullet at the moment.
They've got some of the old TV games are stored there. Why, I don't know why. Whether it's part of ITN network, I don't know, the archive or whatever. And I arranged once. Some town fan was going to go and watch the Chelsea game for me and tell me what the quality was like, but it never happened. You make an appointment and you go in and watch the footage.
Just tell us. I'll go do it. It's no problem. It's only up the road. Yeah, I'll go do it for you. Tell me which game you want me to go.
You can go and have a look.
I'll get my little iPhone out.
1981, Tony Ford.
I'll get my iPhone out and film it.
Yeah, good lad. Yeah.
What
me getting up to go for a piss.
What do you think for Saturday then? I'm actually quite devastated. My 12-point prediction has fallen at the first hurdle.
I predicted 2.
We've doubled Alex's 2.
Remember when he said we won't win? We'll only win 2 more games a season, and like in the next.
Well, he's right at the moment, isn't he? He's still within his boundaries. To be fair,
and I said we would drop into the relegation zone, but we would still be safe because I just.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about you dropping to the relegation zone now, which is a nice thing.
It was a good set of results on Saturday as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Forest Green lost to Sutton United, as they were playing, 23rd and 24th, which means that Sutton, who are kind of cast adrift, have caught up a little bit, but it means that Forest Green are staying down there. Salford got a point. Colchester got a point, if I remember rightly. So all in all, it was kind of as you were. Am I right?
Which is absolutely fine for us, isn't it? As you were for the rest of the season, and we're fine.
Yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, so I'm not going to say it. But I think these 6 games have probably sorted our season out. The gaps got bigger in our terms. There's less games to play. You're looking at Chester and Forest Green's running. I think Forest Green have got Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham, and only 3 home games. So you're starting to think you're going to ask them to do a lot of points to take over us. Yeah. So. Alex has just put it up. Forest Green have got Doncaster, Stockport, Crewe, MK Dons, Mansfield, Wrexham, Morecambe, Notts County. You're asking them to do an awful lot to bridge the 6-point gap we've got with a better goal difference.
I'll tell you something though. Notts County
relegation threatened. Notts County.
Notts County have dropped like a stone. They're 17th now.
I noticed that the other day. I didn't even see it. And you know who else has got to keep an eye on it? Swindon. I think they might be safe, but they're dropping like a stone as well. Only on 44 points, and we've got 2 games in hand, I think.
And we've then got obviously we've done franchise in Gillingham. We've got Wrexham and Barrow to come, who are 2 of our tougher games. We've then got Bradford and Newport games that I think we can, 2 home games that I think we can try and get something from. Harrogate that away, that rearranged game. Then Crewe.
They're not in great form. Harrogate now, I don't think.
No, Crewe, and then Colchester, obviously. Then Swindon, who are struggling as well. That could potentially be a game where we overtake them, and then Crawley on the end of the season.
I think after Easter it'll all be done. I genuinely think after that Bradford.
I hope so.
Game, I think it'll be touch wood. There's 5 games left of the season, and we spoke the other week about. I think with those 5 games left, if we are safe, then I'd like to see us maybe go back a little bit to trying to implement what he was trying to do beforehand, because I think that's what he'll do.
You've led me nicely on, actually. Sorry, Alex, you go first. Then
no, it's just that some of the guys were saying that Salford have beat Morecambe today, which means they have pulled away from us a little bit. They're now 5 points away from us. They're on the same amount of points as Swindon, but didn't
even know they were playing.
We got 2 games in hand on both of them, so you never know. I think there'll be a couple more twists and turns. I don't think it's assured yet. We could still fall into it, but I think I feel a lot more. I'm not shitting it like I was.
We look like we're going to pick up more points, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, you see the team playing the way we've been playing. We're going to lose games, and we might lose a couple by a couple, but we're going to pick up points. And you're asking teams like Colchester and Forest Green that have already pulled some good results off. You're asking them to do an awful lot. You're asking them to do six points better than us in the next 10 games, and I think that's a tough ask.
That'll have hit them hard yesterday, that defeat.
Yeah. And the goal difference as well. Don't forget they've got 10 worse than us, so it's 7 points.
7 points, effectively, isn't it? It's 7 points. 7 points. But just before we finish, do you look? Obviously, things have picked up in the last sort of 5 or 6 games, and we're saying, "Oh, he looks good, and he looks good, and he looks good." At the end of this season, we could still finish the season going into next season with a reasonable amount of optimism that we make X good signings in the summer. Where do we need to improve, even though we've already improved, for this team to go on to the next level? What players would you be looking to replace in the current setup to improve us?
I don't really want to answer that yet. I think there's an autopsy there. I'm really pleased with what they've done, but I think everybody's position is up for questioning given where we finish. I've got Graham Dixon here saying 43 points should be enough. That, ironically, is the same amount of points we finished on when we got relegated last time, rock bottom of the league.
I think there's 5 or 6, Bruce, where you would hang your hat and say yes, you should be here. There's probably a fair few where the jury's still out.
Maybe it's not the time to name names. That's fair enough.
It massively depends. We've seen a change of how we play, and we're suiting it. Now if he sticks with that, which I won't think he will, then the argument is, well, now we're playing a different style. Does it suit these players better? I just genuinely think he came in with a mandate or a goal to do something, and it's not quite worked out. So we've reverted back and got some results. I think as soon as the season is done, whether that's with games left or not, we'll try and implement that again. And I've no problem with that. So I think we'll want to play a possession-based type of football. And we have seen, without going into too much details, I think it's a bit harsh on the back of the run we've had. We've seen that a lot of our players will struggle with that. So
I wonder as well if, and the second part of what I was going to say is, I wonder as well if he's not actually, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going off the top of my head. Has he managed anywhere other than Crewe?
No, just Crewe.
Right, okay. And he had what, 2 and a bit seasons there, or 2 seasons there? He got promoted and then he got relegated, didn't he? Was it a few years? Okay, yeah. Okay. So he had a few. He's done it. Go on, sorry.
Sorry, just one point that is overlooked is that Crewe were in a very similar position to us when he took over. So it's not like he inherited a great side. They were struggling when he took over in League Two.
So he's had a few years at Crewe, but you wouldn't say that he's a vastly experienced manager. He's experienced, perhaps, but he's not. Go on, Alex.
Oh no, I just mean 5 years. He was there, 2017 to 22.
Okay. So all right, he's been. All right, I was wrong with that. But do you think that he's not that set in stone that what we might ultimately see in League Two is a bit of a hybrid between what we're getting now and what we saw him trying to do? Or do you think it might just be a gradual process that ultimately he does want to do, like you say, Mike, what he was trying to do too quickly? Or he might say, do you know what, actually, we can have a successful formula being solid defensively, but we just need some, more creative. We need to perhaps commit an extra body or 2 forward when we're attacking. Do you think? No, I don't. I think it might be a gradual thing that he does now.
I think he has his principles of how he wants the game to be played, and I think those principles are probably why he's ended up here, because I think they're probably shared by the owners, and we heard a lot about that when he was appointed about a Grimsby way and things. What I think is a massive positive for him, which has surprised me, maybe shouldn't, but you look at football managers and it's not something you see a lot of, is there's a pragmatism and a lack of a big ego, for want of a better word, to be able to recognise that and to change it quite quickly and quite successfully. So he's obviously got his principles how he wants to play football, but he's not wedded to them at all costs. He can understand how you play football, and sometimes a difference is needed. He's spoken an awful lot, especially in the transfer window, about it being a gradual process. And I just honestly think he's come in with a mandate to do something and try to do it, and he's just realised it's too much too soon. So I would suspect we will probably move towards a more progressive type of football next season if we're lucky enough to be in League Two. But I don't think it'll be as different as the change from Hurst to him was. I think it will be not slow, but I think it will take a bit of time and it will come in gradually, because as I say, I think there is a want for the club to play that way. But I think there's been a realization from everybody at the club, the owners, the coaching staff and the players, is that isn't quite possible at the moment. So it's an interesting one. It'd be an interesting one to see how it develops. But as I say, a massive plus for Artell is he's a manager that seems to be able to change with the circumstances. And I said on social media today, I think in the long run, these last couple of weeks and the change may do him a lot of favors with the fan base going forward. You know, there was a lot of people, you know, most of us included, that were very skeptical of him. He's shown he can change, done it successfully. And I think that'll give him a lot of credit with people and Town fans, that next time things go wrong, we know that he'll probably be able to sort it out a little bit and change it. You know, there was a big criticism of Paul Hurst when he went on those losing runs. Is he just more of the same, really, wasn't it? Which is why he never really managed to stop losing runs for quite a while. So yeah, I think if we're in League Two next season, this sort of month, 2 months will have done him a lot of favours, to be fair. I mean, he's gone up in my estimations.
If he turns this round and has any sort of success at this club, it'll be the biggest comeback turnaround that I can remember. From all right, at Halifax we're fucking spoiled, we know what we are and all that, but that was more as a result of what Hurst had said and how people took it, rightly or wrongly. But I think that the absolute hatred that massive parts of the ground had for him and the team, you know, you're not fit to wear the shirts. It's a long time since I've heard that song, and fair play to the players that have had the mental strength to bounce back from that. I mean, some of the performances that we've had to put up with in you know in the not too recent past have been absolutely substandard and have been appalling. But for the whole club to get together, you know, by all accounts, have these open, frank discussions that they've had, all of them. Everybody's been listened to and been given a platform if they wanted it. And for us to come out the other side and suddenly go on a 6-game, if we'd have said 5 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago that we'd gone a 6-game unbeaten run, we'd be just nobody be listening. You think you were absolutely ridiculous. So I think fair play to them all that they've turned it around.
And I think it's, you know, the fans need to take a lot of credit. I don't think I was very scathing, and I don't think anyone was unjust in that sort of, it was just all falling apart. And Town fans are far more aware of relegation to National League than most managers and players are, because they know what it looks like. And, you know, you're still getting, you know, 450 people travelling down to Gillingham after another long way trip where they took 600 to Sutton. You're getting 7,000 at home watching what is effectively the 89th best team in the Football League. You know, that I don't think lots of people are very quick. A lot of Town fans are very quick to criticize Town fans, but I think that's simply down to the fact that they don't really experience football anywhere else. I'm lucky enough to go to games, you know, because we live down here. And I think Town fans are some of the most patient bunch that you could ever imagine. You go watch Fulham. You know, the amount of abuse the Fulham players get from the Hammersmith Road end and the Putney Bridge end, where you know they're pretty coasting and doing everything. And I understand it's all relative, but it's not even close to the abuse that Town players get. Town fans are so starved of a good team and a team that plays for one another that when they have it, they will clamber through the desert and will run through walls for any of those players. And you're starting to see that again now. It doesn't take much for Town fans to fall in love.
Well, Stockport were top of the league when they came to us, and they didn't sell out the 1,200.
Yeah,
they sold 800 tickets. We would have oversubscribed there away, and I think you're right, and it just leads on again nicely. You retweeted what I put out earlier. Somebody had posted, I don't know whether it's correct, that there were 150 tickets left for Saturday. But I know a family that now whether the club have only opened one block of the Osman, because we have 2 blocks when we sell the 1,200. They've only opened the one block at the moment. But tomorrow morning there's going to be a stampede because you can't get 2 or 3 seats together. There's just single seats. scattered all over the place. And this is for a team that, as you say, is down, 88th or whatever we are in the Football League. If we turn it around and we sort of get some sort of successive ilk of the sort of start to the season that we had under Slade in 2005-06, there ain't going to be enough seats in the ground. We're not going to have enough tickets because you only need another few hundred that want to come regularly, and we're screwed basically.
It is fantastic. I mean, I just to go back to one point I was going to say on the thing we was just talking about. I think it is also important for lots of people to not rewrite history a little bit. I mean, I don't think people were massively out of order to be questioning what was going on when we're losing 6-1, 5-1, 3-1 at home. There was a lot of fans that had what
was it, 21 goals conceded in 5 games, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it was a particularly outrageous opinion to have. I mean, I've said before, I mean, I'm a bit pissed off that I got there, but I did. I'm usually quite late to the party with those things. But what I think we also said is that if the owners were going to stick with him, there had to be a point of difference. And it's great to see that during that week after that Doncaster game, there was a point of difference. There was a change. All these meetings and what have you, there was a change. And that's, from my point of view, that's great to see. But in terms of what you said, Alex, yeah, I mean, not being too wedded to Grimsby and, being from out the area, I am usually amazed with town fans compared to a lot of others. And I think you're quite right. If you get a team that will run through brick walls, get results, and start getting a connection with them, then there will be a hell of a lot of support. We saw that a little bit in the first National League season, didn't we? With some of those away attendances, with, places like Kidderminster and Cheltenham and stuff, So there's a lot of potential here if we get it right. And it's just really important that we get it right.
It's and what one of the stats we saw recently was we are the team that has the worst goal difference this century, minus 244 goals since 2000 in the Football League only. We are some way in a distance the leading team in terms of that, and we had 6, maybe 7 seasons out of the Football League during those 23 years.
So you see goals at Blundell Park. You see goals. Can't complain.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just, this town has the potential to, so I think, I don't know what you think, Bruce and Mike, but to support a team that has regular attendances of 10,000, I can see us in the same sort of tier as Barnsley, which is what the club has effectively been in the last, up until the last 20 years.
Oh, easily. If we do it right, and I'm sure the owners will. They're clever people. They know what they're doing. They nurture the, get the younger town fans involved. Things like football and community, which is what brought me to support town. If you can nurture all that and build it gradually along with improving on the pitch, yeah, absolutely, we've got that potential. I mean, you just look at Saturday. That's the 3rd trip to London or the southeast in 10 days, 2 weeks. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. There's teams that don't do that a couple of an hour or 2 down the road.
Yeah, we'll take them 1,500, haven't we, to those 3 trips?
Yeah, I mean Wimbledon a Tuesday night and it was packed, wasn't it?
450, marvelous.
And you were missing me. I'd have been there if it wasn't for Lee's birthday.
That's why everybody came.
Yeah, that was it. He's not there. You can go.
This upturn in form doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we've hardly seen Sam for a month, does it?
I think it helps.
Right.
I think it also helps, Bruce, as well, is that the Southern Mariners are the only ones that can really bring an atmosphere to a game. Unfortunately, you've been quick to criticise the Southern Mariners, but Blundell Park is, up until Milton Keynes, I know I've been to minute silences with more atmosphere.
Would you like to correct the record, Bruce?
I think we're looking.
You need to unmute your laptop, mate. That's what you need to frigging do.
Bruce, do you want to correct the record? We're all listening.
We do need some help. We do need some help from Belgian fans there at times.
That Orient where we were singing songs I love that.
I love that.
So he doesn't want to correct the record. We've got it. So next time you see Bruce at a game in London, any fans from the south, see him.
Yeah, I agree. Well, anything for anyone else, because we're getting to that point now where we talk a bit of crap and there's 500 people watching. Yeah, 468
I'm not having that.
People.
There's some bots. I'm not having that. There's that many people that got nothing better to do on a Sunday night.
I
that's a nice finish now, though.
Hunted is starting in a minute. I want to go watch that.
Was that back on again?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'd love to do that. I think I'd be great at it.
I'd love to do it
until they just go. Let's just go wait at Blundell Park for a home game.
Problem is, I'm very
we could use this.
I'm very easy to chase down. That's the problem.
we could use this as a platform actually, because you know how you struggle for like. Do you ever struggle to like know what me and Claire we don't have a lot in common TV wise, but we do like to get into we do like to get into a good series.
Have you watched The Gentleman yet?
No, that's been recommended. We're currently watching Kin. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Currently watching Kin. That's quite good.
This is the point where if you're listening to this, you can now turn off. We're going to chat.
If you've got any tips and you're going to watch next week, then please let us know what TV programs you're watching that are binge worthy.
Me and Lee quite like watching The Rookie. That's quite a mundane American TV show which doesn't take too much of your attention. That's quite nice. But The Gentleman.
You enjoyed Reacher. Have you watched Reacher?
Yeah, if you like that, you'll like The Rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
That'll be good.
We won't go on, but please next week, if you're going to watch live, can we have some TV series tips? Thank you.
Me and my wife don't get to watch a lot of programs together because I'm quite odd and weird, and I should have been born 40
Never.
years ago.
I'm not having that.
I watched some very old and boring stuff.
Michael Yarbrough says there's a TV show about that Michael Yarbrough is saying there's a TV show about Matty Haywood and
Paul Linwood,
Rich and Hope as well. Slow Horses on Apple TV. That's quite a good one. Bodies on Netflix says Square Eyed. Ted is very funny. Do you know what Ted is very funny?
Bodies is good, but you've got to get your head around it. Very good, yeah.
This is Jack Cooper says this is the first time in months I've listened to the night of recording, and I look forward to this bit. Do you think, Jack, we should put this bit behind a paywall?
We'll do that. What's it called? Patreon or whatever it's called. We'll this is the bit, like you say, this is the bit that you pay for. This is the bonus, the bonus bit.
Richard Young says Alex Hunted. A midfielder leaves Grimsby and disappears into a National League relegation battle. My dad suggests Cleaning Ladies on Sky. I don't know what that. Dad, I'm going to check what that is.
It's not the sort of stuff my dad used to watch when I lived at home.
I thought I'd put the pin on your Sky
very
remote.
similar.
I thought I'd put the pin on your Sky remote. You can't watch stuff like that. And then Tim Roach says Shogun on Disney Plus apparently is pretty good.
There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff on the internet.
Have you watched Ted Lasso yet, Bruce?
No.
You'll love that.
What are you doing with your life?
In it? Yeah.
I came to it late. I binged it.
We're currently watching Kin. We're currently watching Kin.
The only thing I didn't like about Ted Lasso is how shit the goalkeeper was. Like, the goalkeeper was Tommy Forecast levels of shit. Everything else looked pretty realistic.
Did anybody else watch Dream Team when it was back on?
No.
Remember that? On Sky One?
No, shall I tell you what? Did anyone watch Renford Rejects? I loved
when I was a kid, it was Jossie's Giants.
Oh, Dream Team was awesome. Chester United.
Matt Wood suggests Yellowstone in 1883. And Tim Hudder says Cleaning Ladies is a euphemism for a scrubber, maybe.
If you want two documentaries that will make you squirm, that neither of them are new, there's something like, I think it's Man on a Wire or something, where they walk between
Welcome to Wrexham.
Where they walk across the Twin Towers on a road.
Does he fall off?
No, he doesn't fall off.
Well, there you go. Don't need to watch it. Don't need to watch it.
And then there's another one where a guy climbs.
I love that one. El Capitan.
El Capitan.
It's amazing.
Free something. That is mental.
Free fall.
I'm assuming you've all done like Suits and all that sort of stuff and White Collar.
Bruce, have you also seen that documentary about the people who take like a breath and then try and dive down deep as they can? That's on Netflix. That's quite a good one.
We did that at school. We used to do that at school once. Some kid had to go to hospital.
Yeah, that's Chapman Pond. The only
problem dive deep. I thought you meant we had the thing where they used to try and hold the breath and see how long they could hold it for.
I've seen something similar.
Don't recommend that. I don't recommend that, kids. It's not a good idea. Anyway, some kid had to go to hospital.
Did they?
Anyway, we are waffling now, aren't we? Thank you for the recommendation.
I tried to do that at the Aqua Disco at Cleethorpes Leisure Centre. I was only in the shallow end.
You was just perving under the water at all the birds. That's what you were doing.
No, shall I tell you something? It was I can't swim, and I used to be shit scared of water. So all my mates used to go, and I'd be like, they're going,
the Aquadisco was a good idea, wasn't it?
Yeah. Everyone else, let's go to the Aquadisco. Oh, I don't want to fucking go there. And I'll try my best not to show that, I was being there shaking like a shitting dog. Like, if I let on that this is a weakness, I'm going to be bundled to the bottom of the pool before I
Did you have
get
a pool?
a chance. Pardon?
Did you have a pool?
I went in pool.
Paul, did you have a pool at the Aquadisco shaking like a shitting dog? I bet you didn't have a lot of success, did you?
No, I came in with the armbands on.
Right. We should do this bit after the pod's really finished, shouldn't we?
No, well, yeah, we should do, but we should do it on some sort of special premium channel that we charge a whole 50p a month.
Well, we can't do that because as soon as you finish, Bruce just disappears. You don't want to talk to us.
It's been a pleasure tonight, boys. I've enjoyed it.
It's like when you see him at a town game and he says hello and then just walks off.
Sam does that. Sam's the worst for that. Sam, you thought he would want friends coming up with his impending unemployment, and but no, he's not. He won't even come and stand with you. He's gone.
He was in Preston at the weekend, wasn't he? That'll be a culture shock to him.
Yeah. Jack Coupland says new series of Sunderland Till I Die is out. That might be worth watching.
2 episodes or something now, isn't it? This 1, 2 or 3 episodes.
No, maybe. Is that it, everyone? Are we all good?
Only Towns.
Yeah.
Only Towns. What's that? Only Towns. Matt, get back in. Any ideas for the show title? Let us know. Thank you all so much for listening.
Oh, hang on. I have forgotten something.
Oh, fucking hunted. I want to watch it.
I got accosted not accosted. That might be the wrong word. I don't know what
you went to Costa.
I was in the Swashy on Friday night, and some drunk middle-aged woman come up to me and said, "You're in that documentary, aren't you?" And she went, "Old Town, aren't we?" And she punched me in the bollocks and ran off.
There you go. There's your title. We're done. That's it for another week.
How random is that?
Well, whoever it is, young lady, we salute you. We think you are a hero, and we would like you to come on the podcast to explain how come Bruce is still standing. Because
please make sure that the title's something to do with Bernard Morley. Thank you.
Punching Bernard Morley in the balls. What? I don't know. What do you want me to put?
No. The Bernard Morley episode. I've got it. That's it.
Bernard Morley fun bus. Anyway, there we go.
Cheers,
thank you also. Thank you. See you later. See you next week, guys. Bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be on a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight from that.